A large-scale manufacturing floor is an inherently hostile environment. Heavy stamping machines, high-voltage power, and toxic chemicals operate inches away from human flesh. When safety protocols fail here, the human cost is immediate. In Chapter 1 of the Factories Act of 1948, we established the core vocabulary: what constitutes a factory, a worker, or a manufacturing process. Now, Chapter 2 introduces the actual enforcement mechanism, the statutory rules that govern how those definitions are policed. This system is built on the tension between two opposing domains. On one side, the duty holders, who bear absolute, proactive responsibility. On the other, the state's enforcement wing, armed with the power to intervene. This brings us to the core operational questions. When a facility is active, who carries the legal liability for its safety, and who has the authority to step in? We can map the answers across the 5 core sections of Chapter 2. Over the next few minutes, we will systematically populate the rules defined in sections 7A through 10. For an occupier or facility manager, understanding this specific statutory arrangement is the primary defense against legal and financial liability. Liability begins with Section 7A, which focuses on the occupier. The law assigns the occupier a non-delegable duty to ensure the health and safety of all workers. This responsibility cannot be signed away to a third party. This duty is divided into 5 specific mandates. First, the occupier must provide and maintain structurally secure mechanical plant systems, engineered to prevent injury to the flesh and bone operating it. Second, that safety extends to materials management. The handling, storage, and internal transport of chemical substances must be conducted without exposing workers to health hazards. Third, providing safe machines is only part of the requirement. The occupier must also provide intensive safety training, clear operational instructions, and constant floor supervision. Fourth is safe transit. The physical points of entry and exit, the access and egress routes, must be maintained in a practically risk-free condition. And fifth, the occupier must monitor the atmospheric working environment, ensuring it remains safe while providing adequate welfare facilities. The law requires these 5 duties to be documented in a formal written safety policy, detailing practical execution arrangements. This document must be regularly revised for new risks, and updates explicitly communicated to every worker. Section 7A shifts the legal burden of proof. The occupier must show they actively engineered safety into the workflow before an operation began, rather than simply reacting to an accident. However, liability for safety does not start at the factory gate. Section 7B extends the legal reach of the Act to the external design and manufacturing table. Anyone supplying an article or machinery for factory use is legally obligated to ensure the product is safe when properly used. They must conduct rigorous physical tests and provide exact data on the precautions needed to keep workers safe. There are specific requirements for foreign equipment. When imported, the domestic importer inherits the legal obligation to ensure it meets Indian safety standards. The responsibility for the design's integrity transfers entirely to them. A supplier can only relieve themselves of this duty if they secure a specific written undertaking from the buyer. This contract must outline the practical steps the buyer will take to ensure the machine's safe operation. Suppliers are also protected if their instructions are ignored. If a worker or occupier uses the equipment in a way that violates the provided safety manuals, the supplier is not held liable. Section 7B ensures that no piece of equipment enters the floor without a designated party bearing the liability for its safe design and testing.
With the duty holders defined, the Act establishes the state's enforcement wing under Section 8. The state government creates a geographic hierarchy, appointing a chief inspector with statewide jurisdiction, supported by additional and deputy inspectors for local limits. By default, the local district magistrate also acts as an inspector, integrating civil authority into the enforcement chain. Every member of this inspecting staff is legally classified as a public servant under the Indian Penal Code, granting them specific protections and authority. This authority is managed through a strict neutrality mandate. No person can be appointed as an inspector or continue to hold office if they hold a direct or indirect financial interest in the factory, its business, its patents, or its machinery. This rule ensures that safety enforcement remains independent of local economic influence or corporate ties. Within their assigned local limits, inspectors exercise the statutory authority granted by Section 9. These powers allow them to intervene directly in a factory's operations. An inspector possesses the absolute right of entry. They can enter any facility they believe is a factory, bringing along government assistance or outside experts to evaluate the premises. They are empowered to examine the plant and inquire into any dangerous occurrence. This includes the legal right to interrogate workers and take on-the-spot statements. If they suspect a violation, they can demand, copy, or seize official factory registers and internal records. During an investigation, an inspector can mandate that a section of the premises or a specific piece of equipment remain entirely undisturbed for examination. While the scene is frozen, they are authorized to take measurements, technical photographs, and instrument recordings. If they identify a health hazard, they have the authority to dismantle machinery and take physical possession of any hazardous chemical or article for the purpose of testing. The scope of these powers scales with the operation. Because dry docks fall under the Act, an inspector can legally halt work on a massive maritime vessel, just as on a small assembly line. Section 9 provides the inspector with the authority to freeze an operation, seize its records, and dismantle its hardware for examination. While inspectors handle mechanical safety, Section 10 introduces the medical counterpart, the certifying surgeon. The same neutrality rules apply here. A doctor employed by the factory or holding a financial interest in its business cannot serve as its official certifying surgeon. Their duties are clinical. They certify the physical fitness of young workers and conduct mandatory health checkups for any personnel engaged in hazardous processes. They also exercise medical supervision during outbreaks of occupational illness or when the introduction of a new substance creates a high likelihood of injury to workers. Industrial hazards damage machinery, but they also compromise the human body in ways that require independent medical monitoring and oversight. We see the completed statutory framework. Sections 7A and 7B establish the proactive liability of occupiers and suppliers, dictating who is responsible before a machine runs. Sections 8, 9, and 10 construct the investigative and medical machinery to audit duties and respond to failures. If an incident occurs, the first two sections determine who bears the financial and operational cost, while the final three provide the tools to investigate the cause. This arrangement of liability and enforcement is the foundation for the specific health and safety standards detailed in the following chapters of the Act. Chapter 2 ensures that industrial safety is backed by a designated responsible party and a system of independent, uncompromising enforcement.